working with small institutions. What's driving people out of the business today is the burden of regulation that is untailored and disproportionately borne by those smaller institutions. They don't have the scale now not to compete and offer their services, to their customers. They don't have the scale to meet the needs of the FDIC, the Fed, the OCC, the SEC, the FINRA, the MSRB, the BYOB, all these organizations, checking to see if you're listening. And so you've seen Jamie Dimon's famous chart from the 2010 crisis that kind of rivals Hillary Clinton's healthcare reform 1994 chart. Well, it's no better. It's gotten worse on duplication. It's gotten worse on intrusion. It's gotten worse of ignoring the forest for some individual tree that somebody just invents as something that you want to go in and attack an institution by an enforcement action instead of by a thoughtful supervisory approach.
How much of this is regulation versus supervision, or is it both?
I think it's both. I mean, fundamentally, it's structured at the regulatory rule book, but how we supervise is very, very important, using some judgment. And we're on, most supervisory practices have another important three-letter acronym that's not an intelligence community agency, but CYA instead of CIA. And Silicon Valley is the best example of that. Anyone could take the data of the call report data for 2 years before Silicon Valley's failure and identify immediately, straight up. This great analytical mind here would spot it straight up. But when former Vice Chairman Michael Barr at the Fed published his after-action report, and you see the UBPR financial call report data, and you layer in the supervisory data of when they had a phone call, when they had a board resolution, when they did a bank exam, and you see absolute abdication of responsibility. That's supervisory.
Right.
And that is leadership. It's leadership in these agencies about doing M&A review, doing supervisory guidance. And Treasury Secretary Bissett, who's very active this week and making some fantastic remarks on behalf of the World Bank and the IMF meetings, we've had many conversations about the regulatory guidance, the harmonization approach, to make sure that we get it right at the federal and state level. And I appreciate that leadership commitment. One final point. I mean, I don't believe in regulation by enforcement.